In the school, there is a never-ending amount of rubbish waste in the yard. This waste consists of all sorts of food and drink packaging, and most of the time it is recyclable plastic material. This is an issue for a number of reasons. Firstly, the look of mountains of plastic blowing around the yard is not great, and many people passing the school would be able to see the litter. I believe this sets a bad image for the school because it is unattractive and untidy. Other than being an eyesore, the plastic litter in the yard, if not picked up, is likely to end up blowing or washing into the streets and ultimately the ocean, where it poses its biggest threat. The majority of people already do the right thing by disposing of their waste in a thoughtful manner, but there is definitely room for improvement. The total amount of plastic produced by the school that ultimately ends up in landfill is considerable and needs to be addressed. Eventually, I would like to see a recycling program set in place to greatly reduce the school's plastic footprint and create a cleaner and more appealing schoolyard. Dedicated recycling bins throughout the school will encourage the waste to be properly disposed of and recycled. Ultimately, I would like to see no waste, especially plastic, litter in the yard. The total school's plastic waste footprint should be reduced, meaning the waste made is properly disposed of. The only way to improve on the school's plastic waste issue is to implement a way for people to sort and put their plastic waste in recycling bins. I believe if each rubbish bin in the schoolyard is paired with a dedicated recycling bin, a large amount of recyclable material will be saved from landfill. Extra bins coupled with a recycling awareness program will dramatically reduce the amount of plastic seen blowing around the yard. There are 33 existing rubbish bins situated around the schoolyard. Yellow littered recycling bins are available from around $60 each, meaning for under $2,000 the school could have an arsenal of functioning recycling bins. A recycling skip and collection would also need to be arranged. FM Waste offer a large skip bin dedicated to recycling with monthly emptying for $100 per month. As most people know, almost all drink bottles and cans are accepted at the local recycling depot for a 10-cent refund. A series of special bins dedicated to these drink containers could be situated near the main walkways and high traffic areas around the school. The money generated by the bottle and recycling can go back towards the school's recycling program. It is estimated that the school canteen alone sells around 400 bottles per week that can be refunded. If everyone deposited these drink containers into the allocated bins, the school could be paying for the recycling collection with up to $60 left over each month. Plastic waste has been an ever-increasing issue ever since plastic's invention in 1869. Every single piece of synthetic polymer-based plastic ever made still remains somewhere in the world, be it in landfill, litter, or recycled form. Unlike paper or other forms of litter, almost all plastics will never biodegrade. This means unless it's properly recycled, it will be part of landfill or the environment forever. Plastic is at its most harmful to the environment in the ocean, where many different animals mistake it for food. Because of plastic's indigestible properties, the plastic can cause many animals to accumulate large enough portions within them, which eventually kills them. Beaches can be corrupted by copious amounts of plastic that washes up, which is unattractive. The Eyre Peninsula is home to not only some of the most beautiful beaches in Australia, but the world. Plastics washing up on the beaches can potentially ruin the entire coast, destroying the wildlife and natural beauty. Port Lincoln is a town that heavily relies on the ocean. Many families on the Eyre Peninsula depend on fishing to survive. With plastic bioaccumulating through the natural food chain, many species of fish, along with birds and mammals, suffer. This means many species of fish are greatly at risk of poisoning by the plastic they ingest. Without a healthy functioning fish industry, many jobs in Port Lincoln could be at risk. As already mentioned, plastics can have a big impact on the environment when not disposed of properly. Animals are the ones that suffer from plastic waste, in particular marine animals. Almost all marine animals can mistake plastic for food. Even if they don't, larger predators prey on smaller animals that are full of plastic and as a result end up with plastic in their digestive systems. Most of the time, animals are unable to digest the plastic, and as a result, the plastics accumulate inside them until the animal dies. The plastic product isn't the only damaging part of the process. the actual production of plastic has many damaging effects. For example, many harmful gases are released in the production when the polymers are being constructed, when the raw material is being extracted, and the transport in between. Since almost all plastics are derived from petroleum, large amounts of energy are required to extract and process the crude oil to turn it into the useful plastics. Even though the recycling process consumes energy and emits gases, it is far more sustainable to recycle plastics rather than create new plastics. Plastic is the word used to describe a material that is made up of polymers. Polymers are made up of long chains of molecules and often occur naturally in the environment, for example, cellulose. The earliest form of plastic was developed from cellulose, although it wasn't long before synthetic plastic production set its roots in our society. Scientists started developing plastic from fully synthetic polymers in 1907. These fully synthetic polymers contain no molecules that occurred naturally in nature. As a side effect of this, they became non-biodegradable, indigestible, and will never naturally disappear. This fully synthetic polymer was first developed to be an insulator for electrical wires in the United States, and it was very successful. The newfound product was easy to mass produce, strong, durable, and could suit many applications because it could be shaped or molded to suit almost any application. World War II was responsible for countless more developments and uses for plastics. Productions such as nylon and plexiglass were developed and allowed thousands more applications to be utilized. Even after World War II, plastic production continued to snowball, taking place of steel, wood, and other traditional building materials for furniture, cars, buildings, and many more purposes. At the time, plastic was believed to be the best material to use because it was sanitary, cheap, and very easy to manufacture. It wasn't until the 1960s people began to become aware of the damage plastic is doing to our planet. It began to appear everywhere in the oceans and other sites in nature. Plastic drink bottles are a big contributor to waste seen around the schoolyard. Despite not being until the 1960s when plastic bottles began to be in mass production for drink containers, for example Coca-Cola, around the world these bottles are still seen in the form of litter everywhere. Even in Australia, only 2 of the states and territories offer a refund for every bottle recycled. This refund is a small incentive, but often not enough to discourage people from littering or disposing of them incorrectly. Plastic is so bad for the planet because of its inability to biodegrade. Some plastics degrade, which some people believe is good, but this only means the plastic is breaking into smaller pieces, often causing more problems, rather than being absorbed by microbes like in natural decomposition. Microbes are unable to decompose these polymers because of the size and the strength of the carbon-carbon bonds. There are 2 main categories of plastics, thermosets and thermoplastics. Thermoplastics are easy to recycle because of their structure, which does not change when heated. They can be heated and reformed indefinitely. Thermoplastics are things like milk bottles and soft drink bottles. Thermosetting plastics are far more complex. Once set, they cannot be remelted and reshaped. Rather, they will char or crack. Thermosets are things that usually need to withstand higher heat, such as cooking utensils and circuit boards, but also include most soft plastic bags. Up until recently, thermosets have been discarded to landfill, even if placed in recycling bins and are considered recyclable. This is because of their extremely tough properties that are a result of the curing process they undergo. Recent technology has allowed scientists to discover means of recycling these types of plastics using special types of solvents. Plastic litter in the schoolyard is damaging to the environment, unattractive, and easily avoidable. With a number of simple, easy to implement strategies, the quality of the school grounds and the school's total plastic footprint can be greatly reduced.